Hello and welcome to today's event. I am Action Associates Industry Marketing Specialist Jason Naxted, and today's webinar will cover Infor CSD, the smarter way to scale your distribution business, or why Infor is winning over NetSuite. Today we'll cover whether you have a single warehouse or large multinational distribution network. Infor has solutions that fit your needs. As business gains in complexity, your organization can grow into the solution that addresses your challenges, that increase your ability to offer and perform essential value-added services. If you look down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see some icons. From there, you can ask any questions, review any resources attached to this webinar, or schedule a demo for yourself. Today's presenter, Mr. Rob Dallas, Senior Distribution Solutions Consultant, 30 plus years working with Infor distribution products, and 15 plus years solutions consultant with SXE CloudSuite Distribution products. This will take about 30, 45 minutes. We'll have time for questions at the end. And without further note, Rob, take it away.
Thanks, Jason. Welcome, everyone. As far as today's agenda goes, we are going to start with comparing and discussing CloudSuite Distribution, often referred to as CSD, versus NetSuite, the Infor Distribution ERP solutions. We are going to have about a 15-minute demo. Then I have a few slides to talk about our company, who Jason and I work for, Action Associates. And then, as he mentioned, we will have time for some Q&A. So if you do have some questions, please enter them in the Q&A panel. Infor is the author or manufacturer of the software. They are the third largest ERP company in the world. They are really striving to be leaders in technology and innovation, allowing their users to leverage the technology that they're used to utilizing in their personal lives in their business world, right? You can see their strong micro-vertical positions on the left with BMAT, HVAC, electrical, industrial, etc. So what is NetSuite missing? I tell people NetSuite is a good product. It was developed as a cloud-based product. To me, it was more of an accounting package where they've added distribution and inventory functionality. Where CloudSuite Distribution was an on-prem product called SX Enterprise, deep distribution functionality that about a dozen years ago, Infor moved to the cloud, gave it a browser UI, added a layer of technology. So to me, you get the best of both worlds, because it started as a deep distribution product built for distributors of all sizes, built to scale. We have customers that are 40, 50 locations, hundreds of users processing thousands of orders a day. So what is NetSuite missing? Customer expectations. NetSuite targets the SMBs only, and it becomes expensive to grow, right, and scale. I mentioned distribution-specific solution. It requires partners to develop industry-specific insights and content. Leading WMS. Again, NetSuite requires partner plugins for warehouse operations, such as license plate tracking and warehouse configuration, etc. Integration and extensibility. NetSuite extensions are limited to the application marketplace and lack flexibility to accommodate specific customer requirements, where CSD includes a middle layer called Ion, which includes the real-time APIs, the bots, everything needed to integrate with other solutions. Also has the ability to do extensions. So though it's a cloud-based product, a true multi-tenant SaaS product, we have the ability to extend the solution, customize it, if you will, for any requirements that a customer may have. Some of the deep out-of-the-box functionality that CloudSuite Distribution has, again, versus what the deficiencies we just discussed in NetSuite. Advanced inventory management really is the core of CloudSuite Distribution. So navigate complex inventory challenges with precision. Right? How much inventory should you have? What should you buy? When should you buy it? Taking into account, of course, usage history, seasonal items, the movement class, hits, profitability, forecast, even customer forecasts that you can import. Unified data and operations, so eliminate data silos with integrated processes for a holistic view of your business. Greater supply chain agility, so real-time supply visibility and insights to ensure regulatory compliance. Excuse me. Insightful analytics, so again, taking that data that you have and drive your decision making, turn it into useful information, and improve customer satisfaction, predictive analytics to more accurately anticipate demand and meet expectations. So I like to just include this slide to show how Infor is recognized in the Magic Quadrant as a leader, an ERP leader, and you can see them up here in the top right quadrant. Again, proven capabilities for many different verticals, industry innovation, not proprietary innovation, and a customer-first culture. So what's included in your subscription of CloudSuite Distribution? So this top section under core capabilities is everything that's included. So all your sales processing, that would be your pricing records, right? Pricing contracts, quotes, sales orders, invoicing, all that advanced inventory management that I've been discussing and referencing. Real-time accounting system, rebate management, light manufacturing, proof of delivery, all of that is included. But there are many optional capabilities, or what I like to call extended solutions, that you may need today or you may need as your business evolves. And again, CloudSuite Distribution is very scalable. It is built to grow with your business. Some examples of those might be a full-blown WMS system. We want to go paperless, we want license plate handling, we want wave picking, zone picking, etc. Configure price quote, a rules-based configurator. A lot of distributors are nowadays having to add service and repair to compete with big box retailers and separate themselves. CRM to manage your opportunities in your pipeline. And all of this sits on what's called the Infor OS. So this layer is also included. So the core capabilities in Infor OS is included with your base subscription. Again, this is that technology layer. So more and more uses of AI, the real-time APIs I mentioned, extensibility, workflows and alerts, allowing you to dictate when an event occurs or when something should have happened but didn't, what happens, who gets notified, who gets tasks, right? And again, the true flow chart where you have decision tables and based on maybe the size of the order or who the sales rep is or who the customer or what geography it is, any rules that you can think of, you can dictate, define your business rules. Okay. Document management, full-blown document management system is included and fully integrated, which we'll show examples of throughout the demo. And all of this sits on AWS, Amazon Web Services. All right, so with that, we're gonna jump over and do a demo. So let me share my screen now. Give me just 1 second. And toggle over to my Edge browser. Again, device independent, because it is a cloud-based product. I'm on a MacBook Pro. Doesn't matter if you're on a desktop, laptop, tablet, or smartphone. It does have responsive design, so it's going to change based on the real estate that you have in front of you. What I like to do in these webinars is 3 quick scenarios. We're going to do sales-based scenarios. We're going to do a lookup of availability and pricing, customer-specific pricing. We're going to check the status of an open order and then actually attach a document to it. And then lastly, we're going to actually enter a new order. Right? Good news, customer wants to place an order. So of course I could go to the main menu system and go into sales and inquiry and pricing and get the customer pricing inquiry. What's nice is users only see the functions that you've granted them security to access. Or you can have favorites and bookmarks as well. Or you can come up and just type what you're looking for, either the acronym if you know it, or if I type in the word pricing, notice the system displays all functions that contain those characters. Again, makes the system easy to learn. So I'm going to jump into OEIP, which is customer pricing inquiry. We don't have to create a quote or start an order to see, do we have that product available? What is this customer's today price for that product? Now, as far as lookups go, first thing you'll notice when I click on a field, notice it remembered what I've been working with. Any field you click on in CSD, it's going to remember what we call MRUs, most recently used. Sounds simple, but those seconds add up across the enterprise. The system is built for speed, both transactional speed, but also to increase user efficiencies. So as far as lookups go, you just type what you know. Do you know part of the number of that account? Do you know part of the name? And the more you give it, it narrows down your search results. You could have entered in part of their phone number, their address, their zip code. Right? Same with product lookup. If I want a grill, right? Well, I sell a lot of different grills, so maybe I want a built-in grill. Now, similar to what you're used to getting when you're on Google or a search engine, any items that contain both of those, notice the sequence doesn't matter, appear at the top. And then below, I have any items that contain either or. You also get to see availability right here before you even select the item. Okay? But let's say in this scenario, you have hundreds of different built-in grills. There is this advanced search icon that you can hit, and this will launch a window. And now you get to see a product image, short description of the item, current availability, also a 256 character extended description, all of which is part of the searches and lookups. So you could put any dimensions, maybe attributes, or even slang terms that your customers may use to describe a product. Anything that can assist with your users to quickly and easily find the products they're looking for. I'm going to select a grill. Now we have some information we're going to look at in just a moment, but the first thing that probably jumps out to you is this nice product image. Throughout the system, in different areas, you're going to notice you see product images, but let's say you want a spec sheet or an ancillary document associated with this item, or you're somewhere without an image and you want to see what this product looks like. On the right, we haven't discussed it yet, is what's called the Smart Panel. And there are things like Smart Help and some AI features, but also there's these widgets or intelligent web parts. And what they reference are these objects that are monitoring what you're doing, what you're working with, and intelligently and dynamically changing the information they provide. So of course it knows if I go to customer, it knows we're working with customer 3020. So what documents do I want to see associated with the customer? Maybe a handwritten contract or agreement for pricing, maybe a tax exempt form or credit application. But if I jump down to the product, maybe I want to see the spec sheet and I could drill into it, or I could even email it right here from the web part. Or maybe I want to see that product image. And again, same with notes that I want to see related to the account, or activities or follow-ups, and many others that you can define and configure by user, what's important to you. You can leave this panel open. Commonly, it's closed to gain the additional real estate, but it's always right here at your fingertips, additional information. And you could, if you have one of those environments with multiple monitors, you can actually pull it off on that other monitor. And again, in real time, dynamically, it's going to change and provide additional information based on what you're working with over in the main core ERP system. Okay, so what we see provided is what do we have available at our location, default location. I could quickly toggle over and see what I have at other locations. I see the list price for this item, and I see this customer's today price. This is going through any of our contracts or pricing records that we may have. Okay. Notice I've also changed this field to be green. Through personalization, you have the ability to really change the UI based on a user's preference, moving fields around, hiding fields, relabeling fields, changing color of fields, even adding new fields, new radio buttons, for example. And that could be for an individual user, role-based for a group of users, or company-wide. And there is security around who can change what. So if you want continuity between your accounting users, you may define what you want the layout of the screens to look like and then not give them security to do the personalization. I can obviously manipulate the quantity to see if I can achieve some quantity breaks. Maybe I want to sell a case or a pallet. I could change the unit measure. I could pull up a pricing worksheet, do some what if type pricing scenarios with different cost plus, list less, or specific margin amounts or percentages. But let's say I'm working with multiple items with this customer. In between each item, I can hit this record price option. And then at the end, if the customer requests a quote, you don't have to go into quote entry and re-enter and hopefully remember the items that you were just discussing. You simply hit the create quote button. The quote is automatically generated, and then you can email it straight from CloudSuite Distribution to your customer. The next scenario, talking with Northern Supplies, they have a question about a quote or an order. So we're going to jump over and get into order inquiry. And if you know the order, you could enter it, or if you've recently visited the order, you can select it. But all of the inquiries have this advanced search. And right away, one thing I want to point out, notice how there's only 7 fields enabled here for me to use to search with. There are many other fields, and we're going to turn some on in a second, but by user, you're setting your default preference. Here are the fields I typically use. Okay? And the reason being is that one of Infor's main goals is to keep the system clean, simple. Right? We could turn on all 40, 50 fields, but then the system would look complicated and cumbersome. And you'll notice that throughout the system. So here are the 7 I commonly use, but maybe in this scenario, we want to turn on date range, maybe, let's see, product, maybe the reference field, and maybe transaction types, because again, it could be a quote, a return, an invoice, an order. Those are just different types. Okay? And notice that it just changed the UI. Okay? You can have save searches by user. So again, maybe as a sales rep, I quickly want to get to my open orders or open quotes, or maybe for my largest customer, I want to quickly see their orders, or by a job. For my example, I'm going to look for part of a PO. And one thing to point out, whenever you see this blue underline, just like any other internet page that you navigate, this is a hyperlink. So you can drill down, I can jump into customer inquiry and see some relevant information pertaining to that account, so period balances, credit balances, et cetera. And you're going to see those throughout the system. So whether it's a hyperlink to drill down into a GL journal, to do some auditing and to review the GL posting, or to just jump in to look at an item inquiry or availability inquiry. Whenever you see this blue hyperlink, again, just remember you can always drill down or drill across. So let's take a look at one of these orders. And notice at first we're going to see an overview. So we have a visual representation of margin and cost information. What stage is the order in as it transitions through the system? Then also at the top, notice these sub-tabs. Another example of more information right at your fingertips. So I can jump over to line detail and see the body of the order. And this is what we call the grid. And all the list views and search results have this grid and has some nice functionality built into it. Again, I'll point out the hyperlink. So if I want to jump into product inquiry for an item, I just click on the hyperlink. Okay? Or availability or pricing or any of these other columns. You can sort by any column in the grid, as you'd expect. You can rearrange the columns, and that's important because most of these grids have 30, 40, 50 columns, different fields, and maybe cost and margin is important to you if you have security to see those fields. So, and you don't want to have to scroll to the right to see them. You just pull them over maybe next to the pricing column. Also within every grid, you can export to Excel. Comes in nicely formatted with filtering already pre-established. Or right here within the ERP, you can actually turn on filtering. So maybe looking at this 80-line order, you quickly want to find your tab extensions. So I could go to the description column, description field here, and say, okay, it contains, and we just want to look for tab extensions. Maybe I'd want to filter out by product category or my non-stock items or by vendor or manufacturer. So any column in any grid, you have this nice filtering capability. Now, looking at this order, let's say there's another document they want to add to it. Let's just use customer PO, for example. So I'm going to go to my doc management web part. I mentioned there's very tight integration between doc management and the CloudSuite Distribution ERP. I could use the paperclip and browse out somewhere on my network. Or better yet, I can go to my desktop, grab a file, and just drag and drop it into the web part. Now it's as simple as filing it. What are we associating it with? The customer we're working with, the product, or in this case, the sales order. And what is it? It is a customer PO. Now, once I hit upload, now that document has been uploaded into the document management system and tied to this entity, right? In this case, the sales order. So anytime someone's in looking at that order or editing or working with the order, they'd have access, again, very quick access to any of those digital documents. Okay, so now, thankfully, let's say that Northern Supply wants to place another order with us. I could go to the menu or my access codes or bookmarks, but Infor has also added in all the inquiries these quick buttons or options, if you will, to launch right into other functionality that commonly occurs, whether that's editing this order, printing it. We can even copy orders to new orders. But I'm going to go ahead and hit the new option. Takes me right into order entry. As we discussed, it remembers who we've been working with. One nice thing about the CSD is there's only one sales entry function, but there's different types of orders that you can enter. And of course, different ramifications occur behind the scenes based on the type of order, but it makes the system easy to learn, easy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed forward. The orientation is left to right. So my banner or header is over on the left. Of course, I could change the order type if I started a quote and I want an order, or vice versa. I could adjust the customer ship to if needed, and I can also see a running total here as I generate this order or quote. Product selections here in the middle, and on the right is my shopping cart or footer. There are multiple ways to select items, and you set your default preference. Mine is what's called easy entry, because to me, if I enter an LED light, this resembles what I'm used to doing in my personal life, let's say on Amazon. I get to see nice product images. I see a short description. I see what's available. I see this customer's today price, again, going through our contracts and pricing records. One other nice feature of this entry method is you might get multiple hits that the customer's interested in. So by simply setting the quantity of multiple items with one single action, I can add all 3 of those items to my shopping cart. And if I was finished with the order, I could hit finish and really enter an order in 3 or 4 seconds. We're going to do some additional processing because let's say that customer wants to buy something they purchased in the past. Well, I'm going to toggle over to another entry method called shopping. And in this example, we're going to shop off of past sales. So for any time period, the system will produce a simple list of each item they purchased during that time period. I see current availability. So it's showing each item once. I see current availability, their today price, again, going through any of your pricing records, the last date they purchased it, the last price they paid. This quantity recommended column is the last quantity they purchased from you. Gives you the opportunity to upsell, product images. Again, there's a lot more information here. If I have security to see cost and margin, that might be important to me, so I could pull those over next to price if I wanted to. Now, I could do a search icon to find the item I'm looking for. I could turn on filtering like we just reviewed. But what makes this grid unique is it's actually an order pad. So using your mouse or carrier turn and arrow keys, you simply go through and set the quantity for multiple items. And now again, with one single action, you can add all of those lines to your order. And that's just a shopping list based on past sales. We have other shopping lists. For example, maybe promotional products, dead stock you're pushing, maybe models that are being replaced, and we're really good at managing that with what's called a supersede item. Custom lists could be for type of customer or items that get grouped together. Or even maybe your largest customer, every time they call you, pull up their own list, and I quickly rifle through it and add the items that they want to buy. Or if I toggle over to advanced, this is probably going to resemble what you're used to today. Again, simple and clean screen, right? This is where I can do the stock, non-stock, special order lines. Additional information is here in this panel under extended fields. But let's say if I wanted cost and discount, if I'm always looking at those fields, by user, I could rearrange this and pull those down here below margin. So again, you can tailor the UI based on that employee's requirements. And looking up products, again, I can enter in part of a SKU, right? If I just hit add, it's a quantity of 1. Maybe in this case, I want to type in something related to the item, find my item. Maybe I just want to tab over to quantity and add 3, right? But this item has been defined in the system with options or accessories. So now we can offer to the customer, do you want any rollers, hardware, or belting? Yes, they want some hardware. They want a few of those and some belting, and let's say 10 feet. And now when you hit submit, all 3 of those items are added to the order. I mentioned at any time you could hit finish and get out of the order, but maybe I want to jump over and look at the taxes and totals. And you have the option of managing the tax jurisdictions yourself manually, or integrate with a tax solution like Avalara is integrated to CSD. You can let them manage your taxes and actually file your taxes for you. Or maybe you want to collect payment on this order, maybe a dollar amount or percentage as a deposit, which stays with this order and then is automatically applied when it's invoiced. Multiple payment types are allowed. Maybe they want to pay some by check, some by credit card. Fully integrated credit card system meets all the latest federal PCI requirements, but none of the credit card information is actually stored in your system. Or as we mentioned, we could hit finish. It's going to go through any rules you have, obviously credit limit. Maybe this user is allowed to manipulate pricing, and you could put tolerances by user that they have to stay within. And if they go outside those margin tolerances, then the order would automatically go on hold. And then it would probably kick off those workflows that we talked about in the introduction, right? What is the best practice for our business? Do we want those handled? Maybe because it's over a certain dollar amount, we want it to go to person A, person B, and then person C, et cetera. And they have to approve it down the line. Okay, so that was a few different scenarios. Let me toggle back over here. A couple slides I want to show. Again, I want to just give you a few different sales scenarios with the availability, pricing lookup, the status of an order, and attaching, using the document management, the tight integration to add digital documents, and then obviously placing a new order. Infor, why Infor? Infor is very distribution product focused. This is our flagship distribution product. Again, I think a big difference between NetSuite and CSD is this was developed from the ground up for distributors. A little bit about Action Associates. That's who Jason and I work for. We are Infor's largest partner, 25-year running gold partner. We have won their Circle of Excellence Award, supporting over 700 of their distribution customers with expertise in distribution, light manufacturing, warehousing, and e-commerce. We have over 225 employees across the country, so we're able to offer full support from 8 a.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Pacific time. But not only ERP support, we also have many other offerings. So it is our goal to be your one-stop shop for any IT related requirements that you may have. So with that, Jason, I'll throw it back to you to see if we had any questions.
I think right now all the questions have been at least answered and or answers have been provided. So thank you very much, Rob. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with myself and Rob and the team here at Action and Infor. If you have a moment, head over to our landing page, built for distributors just like you. Take out your mobile device and scan their QR code. It's got lots of resources for you. You can register for more upcoming events we have here at Action Associates, review any resources, customer success stories, white papers, and anything like that, and form to fill out to talk with a member of our team. Get a hold of Rob to schedule a demo for yourself or get any more questions answered. You can contact him at rdallas@action.com. I'm Jason Naxted. Thank you for everyone for taking time out of your day today. We very much appreciate it and hope to see you next time. Everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.